Hi everyone, and welcome to our last bullet journal setup video for 2017. And that is really mind-blowing to me that 2017 is literally on the verge of ending now. But before I get into December's setup, I will quickly walk through November's layout for you guys. So for November, I decided to go with a fantasy theme, which I absolutely adored. I just loved the entire theme, and I just loved it in general. Um, November was quite a busy month for me because of Black Friday, and I do own an Etsy shop, so it was a lot of work preparing for that. And so with it, I also decided to try out a few new weekly spreads. So I have this one-page weekly spread, and then I decided to try out this new layout, which I wasn't really that happy with. It was okay, but I feel like I might have to approach it in a different way, possibly. And then when it was getting closer to Black Friday, I decided to make a little prep sheet. And then after that, I basically just did daily to-do checklists since I just had too much to do, and I figured this way would be the best. And so this is what the week looks like, which I actually really enjoyed the layout of. And then after that, I never looked back to my journal again. So that aside, I'm now going to start working on December. And for December, I am going with a Christmas theme, but I wanted something more simple for December since I know that I wouldn't be looking at my journal all that often. And also at the point when I was beginning to prep for my December layout, I was feeling burnt out and also exhausted. So I just wanted something very simple and very somewhat minimal, but not really. So I just went with a very simple Christmas tree, and then I decided to incorporate my shop mascot into the month of December. And so I have the little sheepies just like peeking out and on top of the tree, which I just find really cute. Also for this video, I will only be creating 3 spreads including the cover page because I just wanted something very simple, and like I mentioned, I was feeling exhausted and burnt out while I was filming this, so I just wanted something very simple. And also I know myself well enough to know that I probably won't be looking at my journal that much in December. But anyways, I am now moving on to coloring in the tree, and I'm taking the 2 Tombows that I have just shown you, and I'm creating a squiggly pattern with the darker color and then blending it with the lighter shade of the Tombow. So I did this because I didn't want to have a solid block of color, but I wanted it to have texture because I knew the rest of the coloring for the spreads would be very sort of solid and just one like block of color. So I just wanted to put in some form of depth into the cover page, but that is basically what I'm doing for the rest of the tree, and I'm really happy with how the texture turned out. I wasn't really too sure how it would work and if it would bleed through the page or not because it would be layering a lot of ink. I don't know how this would work on like other journal pages, but the paper that I use for this one is quite thick, so I can sort of get away with layering that much color. So now after I pretty much finished doing the tree, I decided to attempt to do some brush lettering with the Tombows, which I am not happy with how this one turned out, but I decided to just go full on in with the pen. So that is what happened, but that is what the cover page looks like. I wish the writing was smaller, but I'm still learning how to use the brush pens, and so yeah. Now we are moving on to the monthly spread, which happens to be a calendar layout with a Monday start. And I just really prefer the way that this layout just works well for me, and also I just find it really functional, so I don't feel the need to change it up and everything. But the one thing that I did change about this spread was the side section. Before I had a legend slash key area, but I wasn't using any of these symbols and I kept making up my own, so I decided to scrap that for this month and put my monthly goals in that section instead. So I basically took the one page that I had designated that in November and just squished that down to the side of the monthly spread. And I really like the way that this looks. It saves pages as well, so that's nice. And basically I just drew a little symbol and then wrote down the goal next to it. For this spread I decided to go with the hanging ornaments, and I just colored those in with the 4 colors that I would be using throughout the month, which I will list all of the colors and everything that I've used in the description box if you're curious. Also, the last thing that I did for this spread was add a pop of color on the top of each row. I really like the way that this looks and just sort of ties the theme together, so that is what I decided to do. And then as you can see, I sort of messed up on my lettering for the December monthly area, but like I mentioned, I'm still learning how to figure out using the brush pens for actual lettering. But anyways, let's move on to the next spread, and that is the habit tracker page, which is the last spread that I will be doing for this video. But I decided to do the same layout as I've been doing for the past few months, which is the vertical layout. This was inspired by my life in a bullet. In the corner I have a little sheepy coming out of a box looking all happy and cute with a Christmas hat. And then my list of habits that I'm tracking for this month has increased. So I've done it a little bit differently. Also, before I get onto that, I also messed up on the spacing for habits. I was actually really happy with how the lettering itself turned out, but I was so pissed about the spacing because it was totally off center. So I just tried to fix it a little bit by drawing a little holly doodle. But for the actual habits itself, I decided to push the icons up a row, if that makes sense. So instead of leaving a gap between one and the next symbol, which is the $ with it crossed out, I decided to push it right up against the sort of line. Hopefully what I'm trying to say is coming across on screen. And then I sort of separated out the habits into groups. So I have my lifestyle trackers on one section, then I left a space, and then I have my social media trackers in a little group, and then I left another space, and then I'm also tracking my moods in this area as well. So I left a little space for that and put it into its own group. Hopefully that made some sense. And then for my weekly section and just everyday planning, what I'm going to be doing is using these inserts, which are from Nati Planning, which I am not too sure if she carries these, but as you can see, I don't have any more of the grid inserts left, just out of pure laziness of not wanting to print those out. So I am going to use the lined inserts for planning and try and get those used up so I don't have to waste those. But that is it for this setup video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and as always, hope you have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!